Okay. Ooh, I am shivering right now. These last few days, it's been pretty warm. Like, at least for the morning, it's been like in the, pretty much the 50s, the very low 50s, which as of late, that's been great. But today it's 37. I'm wearing, 4 layers right now. And I know, 30, for some of you folk out there, 37 degrees might as well be spring, I'm sure some of you are walking around in your cargo shorts. You got your flip-flops on. Like, this is nothing, all right? But for little old me, who's grown up and lived in the South his entire life, this is cold. This is our definition of pretty darn cold. Plus, it's I'm really feeling the effects of losing 80 pounds. That's crazy to me. Anyways, I'm just cold all the time. 80 pounds ago, I would just sitting around, if I'm sitting at my desk or just kind of like walking around, nothing crazy, no exercise. But walking around, dude, I'd be sweating all the time. Sitting at my desk, like I'd have both my arms up like this, I'm like tacking away on my keyboard, and I would just feel sweat dripping down my sides, like from my armpits. And now I'm at the very opposite end of the spectrum, where I just don't sweat at all. Like yesterday, during that pretty intense arm day. All right, keep in mind, my lifts are always very intense. I didn't sweat at all. And I'm sure some of that can kind of be attributed to the lack of hydration right now, just because of the fasting and everything. And I get up at 3:30, and I drink as much water as I'm able to, without yakking or anything. But it's just not enough sometimes. Compared to a normal day where I wasn't, if I'm not fasting, where, I have all day. I wake up, I'm able to eat something, drink a bunch of water with it, have some electrolytes, drink even more water. You got time to kind of build up that hydration, give it some time to cycle through your system. I'm sure I can kind of get back to a little sweatier post-workout. But for right now, with the fasting until the end of the month, this is kind of the best that I can cut it. So, yeah, suffice to say, I'm freezing. During this lift, I am also going to be freezing because the gym just kind of stays cold. If it's cold outside, it's going to be cold inside. So, I almost wish I brought an extra layer. Or I have these thermal, a thermal shirt, long sleeve shirt, and a thermal or pair of pants or trousers. And I use them for snowboarding, but dude, I might have to just start wearing them to the gym at this point. Oh my god. But we got legs today. It is approximately 4:19 a.m. Normally I like to be closer to the gym by now. I kind of got a late start. I was just a little sluggish this morning. Waking up at 3:30. Forgive me for having a slow start. But jokes aside, 10 minutes behind schedule, but not a big deal. So when I have legs in a morning before work, I don't exactly have the luxury of time, because I need to be out of the gym, in the truck, by 5:55 tops. All right, 5:55 at the latest. And honestly, I'd like to be out maybe a little bit earlier than that, because my like window for fasting every day it decreases by like a minute. So I think today I have to start fasting around like 6:09 or 6:10. So ideally, I'd like to have a protein bar or something from the gas station like already with me. Or I'd like to have like 10 minutes to kind of sit here and not have to deep throat it in the gas station parking lot. So with that being said, I think there's a good chance that today will just kind of be a quad focused leg day, or maybe we'll just like briefly warm up the hamstrings and then go straight into quads. I'm not super sure, but that's normally how I like to do it on the days that I'm like very limited, and that's because like my hamstrings are, I'd like to say, pretty well developed, at least comparatively to the rest of my legs, and like as I shed off more and more body weight, like my quads are pretty well developed. I'm starting to like, there's so much for my build. I have a lot of like fat distribution spread across my quads and like legs in general, so for the longest time I couldn't really tell you like what. I think I didn't hit it. There's a raccoon running across the road. Thank God there's no other car here, because I'm not gonna lie, I would have taken somebody out to save that raccoon's life. Oh my God. Dude, I'm telling you, every time I record one of these videos, something happens. Some sort of traumatic event. There was one day, I wish I was recording this because I was just so shocked that this was happening. I was driving to the gym, and there was just the biggest fire I've ever seen in my life across the street from the gym. There was like this old school that caught on fire, and it was like the one morning that I was like, I don't feel like lifting today. Dude, that was insane. Anyways, what was I even talking about? Oh God. Legs. I don't know. Legs. Low on time. Quads. Warm up hamstrings maybe. Physique. Fat distribution. That's where we were at. So I've peeled off a lot of that like fat covering my quads. And I'm starting to really like see the shape. So I know I've always had like pretty decent like quad genetics, mostly because I've been fat my entire life. So when you're fat for so long, you kind of like your legs have to do a lot of extra heavy lifting, but then I also just have like good genetics for my quads. So as the layers come off, I'm seeing the nice like separation between the medial and lateral head, and then that little like a sliver in between the two. My anatomy teacher would kill me for not remembering this. But anyways, things are looking good. Not too long ago, we finally started noticing some like cool quad veins. I'm not talking like the femoral artery like across like the inside of your legs. I'm talking like across the top of my quads. In the right lighting, if you're holding your breath and it's a new moon, you're able to see some pretty cool spider webbing like veins across the entire top of it. So pretty exciting progress there. So I'd say expect to I guess I can't say see because I probably won't be recording in there today, but expect to hear that I did a number of maybe dumbbell RDLs or standing leg curls or something or other to warm things up, followed by intensive sets of leg extension, leg press, and sissy squat. I've spoken about this a lot. Like, I pretty much mention this like almost every leg day. But there is a reason that I don't do like Smith squats or just straight up barbell squats or anything. And that's mostly because, I mean, I'm in such a deep hole with the deficit right now. 1,800 calories every day plus cardio. I don't have a lot of like free energy floating around. So I have to be a little more tactical in terms of like what movements I'm going to be doing for whatever like day it is. So I kind of need to maximize like the fatigue on the targeted muscle group without having any like I hate to put it this way, but like wasted energy, quote unquote, on like auxiliary muscle groups that I'm not trying to target. So if I'm doing squats, I mean, sure, like it's absolutely a phenomenal leg movement, but I mean, it's incorporating like pretty much everything is going in there. Your entire nervous system is kind of like going in there. Your back is doing some stabilizing. You got your calves and your hamstrings kind of helping you keep balance, and then you're bracing your core, and then the bar is resting on your shoulder. It's everything is coming into play here, and it's just way too taxing on the body for me to justify it. Like with the amount of energy expenditure I have on one set of like really good squats, I feel like I would get a lot more quad stimulation from doing like, a set of leg extensions. So if I'm like expending the same amount of energy on both movements, I kind of have the confidence in saying like, yeah, all this energy went directly into stimulating my quads, and that has ensured that all of my quad gains are not being atrophied over time. So that's kind of the thought process behind it. Whenever this world record for long-lasting cut ends, it'll be back on the table. We'll start easing into it with some Smith squats, and then on my next bulk, there are two movements that I want to get better at, because I think historically I've just never been like great at them, and that is barbell squats and incline barbell chest press. Because normally I just stuck with Smith machine, because the gym that I used to go to, they didn't have like a dedicated incline, and it was just a pain in the butt to kind of like try to jerry rig my own thing. So never really got to it. I only did Smith. So I'm kind of just doing it for the coolness factor of like it's kind of badass to be lifting some heavy weight on incline barbell. And then likewise for squats, dude, it's kind of cool to lift some heavy weight on squats. Come on, like, oh, thank God. So those are the two primary ones I'm going to focus on, with the goal of, and I'm keeping the goalposts very short, all right, very, very close, but 225 on incline barbell for like 8 to 10. Which right now, post last bulk, 185 for 8 to 10 was like absolute, like that's no problem, we're getting that. Now, being so deep into the deficit, I probably have to drop that number down to like 175. But that's not terrible, super close. So I think that is very achievable. Now, squats, I don't know what it is, but I suck at squats. It's just like, it's one of those movements, I think it's just always intimidated me for so long that I never really like, never really, I don't know, I can't say put the effort in, but like, I don't know what it is. But back when I did squat, 225 for 8 to 12 was kind of like the norm for me. And in the grand scheme of things, I don't think that's very good for my like build. I think I could definitely do better, like in a pretty reasonable amount of time. So I want to say like the goalpost for that will be like 315 for 8 to 10. I'd say that's within reason. But enough yapping. I'm gonna turn the fan up a little more and try to warm up a bit. And if I don't see you guys in the gym, then I will see you guys back in the car. So hopefully I don't freeze to death. See you guys in a bit. There we go. So let me put it like this. I bought these jeans that I'm wearing the other day. I went clothes shopping and refreshed the wardrobe. And these fit perfectly. All right. They were like, they fit right in all the right places. After this leg pump, I had to squeeze into them. It fits great around the waist, but around the quads, a little snug right now. They're a little snug. So that tells me that the pump is just as good as it feels, so this was a really good leg day. And I did exactly what I was talking about. So I did just 2 or 3 little feeler sets of standing hamstring curls. Just enough to get some blood pumping into the backs of my legs. And then from there, we camped out on the leg extension for a little while. And after a couple sets of that, various versions where I did single leg or both legs, or maybe single leg and then, superset with double leg. Did all that. I did 2 sets of this stack loaded leg press, just because it's kind of been feeling good to load the legs in a different way. And let's see, after that, a couple sets of sissy squats, supersetted with some calf raises. So, dude, it's pretty crazy. Really good leg day today. The pump was insane. I was on the verge of falling on my way to the locker room. So it was really good, man. Let me drink this real quick. I've got about 7 minutes before I can't eat or drink anything. So I'm kind of trying to nurse this at a reasonable rate. So, gosh, well, I had something prolific to say. Something that would have changed the course of history. Well, I can talk about what I got from QT instead. So I was craving something a little warm in my belly. All right. Now I could have gotten a hot dog or a corn dog or something like that, right? Or they have chicken biscuits. That would have been tasty. All right. But this all goes back to that conversation that I always have with you guys, and that is justifying the macros. So when you're trying to make exceptions, you kind of need to I'm putting this in a really bad way, but you got to think about the future when you're thinking about your macros. Okay. So this morning, after I woke up, I had pre-prepared overnight oats. And all in all, the macros for that were about 300 calories, okay? So 300 calories, and typically I'm shooting for no more than 800 calories consumed before I have to start fasting for the day, okay? So that left me with about 500 calories left. Now that doesn't mean that I need to eat all 500 calories. If I can if I find something satiating and it's under 500 calories, dude, that's even better, because that gives me a little more change to spend towards the end of the day when it's time for me to break my fast. So I went over to the rollers. I was looking around, looking at the macro count for everything. The people at this QT kind of know me at this point because I walk around with my phone out with a nutritional information list. You got to look a little crazy sometimes to get as far as I have. But eventually I landed on the buffalo chicken roller. All right, it was 190 calories. The macros were certainly not incredible, but they were within the realm of, I could justify it, okay? So 190 calories, 12 grams of carbs, 14 grams of protein, 7 grams of fat, all right? So if the protein is higher than the carbs and it's like under 200 calories, I can justify that. It kind of fit my criteria. I was craving something like that. So one thing I didn't consider is that I'm going to regret eating it, because when you are fasting, if you eat something spicy beforehand, you have doomed yourself. You've casted the curse of unimaginable suffering from heartburn. So today is going to be heartburn day. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, honestly, if I stopped and thought about it for a minute longer, I probably wouldn't have gotten it, just because I'm already feeling the heartburn. So, oh well, we're there. It was satiating. That's what matters. All right. And then I also got one of those. I forgot the brand name. They're like the protein Pop-Tarts, and they have like protein cinnamon roll looking things and all that. So I got a chocolate protein Pop-Tart. It's like 190 calories. Listen, it's mostly fiber, and I definitely wouldn't want to eat those as like a primary protein source. But in a pinch, when you need something for breakfast in a record amount of time, it works. And I dare I say it works quite well. So that was pretty good. Breakfast is consumed. On our way to work now. God willing, it'll be a good day at work. Every day I'm like, okay, today will be chill. And then, something is always sprung on me. So I can only imagine what that is today. Let's see. What else is there to talk about, guys? It's kind of hard to come up with some stuff like this early in the morning. I'm like exhausted because I went to bed. I was in bed by 9, but I probably didn't fall asleep until maybe 9:30. So let's do some math here, okay? 9:30 to 10:30. That's not terrible. I got about 6 hours of sleep last night, and I know all the studies say at least 8 hours. You need at least 8 hours of sleep. I'm not necessarily contesting that, but I am saying that everybody's circadian rhythm varies, and there is science behind that to show it. So some people, what the hell is this? Good Lord. Some people, they need upwards of 9 hours, even 10 hours. And then there are other people like me, where really I can get away with worst case scenario, I can get away with 4 hours of sleep. Now that's not my ideal. I prefer to get 7 is kind of my, if I have nothing going on in the morning and I have all the time in the world, 7 hours is about how long I'm asleep before I naturally wake up. And then, I'm up for the rest of the day. Even if I'm exhausted, I can't really fall asleep after I'm already up. And I don't really like to take naps because, dude, I can't just sleep for 30 minutes. All right. That it takes me 30 minutes to fall asleep to begin with. So, I need if I'm sleeping, I'm sleeping. There is no such thing as a nap. But yeah, I can get away with 6 hours and feel pretty well rested there. And it definitely helps. So here's a little Mahdi lore drop for you. I was an EMT for a few years. This was before I worked out and everything. Or maybe I was just getting into working out at the time. I can't remember. But for 3 or 4 years, I was an EMT, and that wreaked havoc on my circadian rhythm. Because I varied. I would flip-flop between day shift and night shift because I was doing my undergrad at the time. So I was doing undergrad, I was doing grant research, running my dad's like restaurant front house staff, on top of like, you know, actual schoolwork. So I kind of had a lot going on. Plus I was getting into the gym. So like very busy schedule. But it just destroyed my sleep schedule. Because, you know, I'd go in, like, work a day shift, come home, sleep all night. The very next day, you know, like I've got classes and work and whatever, do that, and then that night I'm working. And then, you know, if I was cursed with having like a busy night where, you know, we're running calls for the entire 12-hour shift, there's no sleep. And then when I get home, I've got to go to the restaurant, I've got to go do this, I've got to go do that. So it just completely destroyed me, man. I developed like a really bad insomnia, to the point where like no conventional sleep medication worked. They put me on trazodone. That worked for a bit, but I had to like increase the dosage over time because it just like got less and less effective for me. And then eventually I landed on Ambien. I needed Ambien. However, it worked for one night, and then like afterwards it never worked again. Like Ambien worked for the one night and never again. So that was terrible. And I was like having, like the night that it worked, I was having like auditory hallucinations. It sucked. Anyways, point is, the point of all this is to say 6 hours is good for me. 6 hours is honestly excellent for me given the circumstances. So can't complain there. But honestly, that's enough rambling from me. I could probably keep talking about something or other, but you know, videos run for a little bit. I think we've all got our Maudie fill for the day. So we have chest tomorrow, and honestly not sure what I plan on doing. I like going to this workout anytime gym, the 24-hour gym, just because of like I like the vibes in there. You know, everybody there is like lifting pretty hard. But the Matrix equipment, I don't like the Matrix equipment. I really like, they have this chest press, but it's a flat chest press, and it feels pretty good. But like right now, I can tell you I don't really like you get a feel for things. You can kind of tell what, like, I don't know, call it like a craving, okay? And my body is not craving that machine right now. That could change tomorrow morning. But right now, nothing in that gym is really like calling to me. So either we go there, or we do like incline Smith as our like primary movement, or I go to the Y. And the Y has some really good hammer strength equipment. But the problem is, it's the Y. And the vibes are not very immaculate there. So I'll see. I'll think. I have the entire day to think about it.